I don't have my microphone. Check.
Perfect.
Ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage Radio. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning, my friends. My name is Seth Studley. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. Welcome to Thursday edition of AOM Radio, where every single day, well, first of all, this show is brought to you by what, Mel?
The Anatomy of Marriage couples counseling app that's fast, fun, and never boring. It is the couples counseling app that you wish you had forever. And go check it out at anatomyofmarriage.com and get it today. It's amazing. Doug.
Michelle Bailey, when I first saw you pop up on the feed, I about just fell out because for 2 seconds I thought Michelle Obama, and I was like, what?
I wish Michelle Obama was on our feed.
That's pretty funny. What's up, Rochelle?
Doug.
Rochelle and Michelle. Hello. Good morning, ladies. So every single day we do, well, every single weekday, we do PIGS, right? Which is a prayer, intention, gratitude, and
then we talk about our conversation starter of the day.
Conversation starters. That's right. So would you like to pray this morning?
Yes.
All right.
Dear God, thank you so much for all of our blessings. Thank you for the way that you have made our lives and the way that you have made struggles turn into something that we can learn and grow from. Thank you for our children, our home, our families. God, just thank you for all of it. We pray that we can live a life that honors you and honors this world and all of that jazz. Thank you so much. Amen.
Amen. Look at this, you guys.
This dog.
If you're on the tubes,
this dog driving us crazy.
He's just.
Now
okay, yeah,
that's his thing. You go to talk
great.
about him, then he immediately does what you.
When we're praying, you play at our feet and
Douglas.
get all annoyed.
Anyhow.
Right? Okay. Whatever.
So, yes.
Intentions. What are your intentions?
Pray together with your partner. We encourage you to do that. It's really good for your marriage. My intentions today, intentions are basically the behavior I want to exhibit today, is to be present with you and try to help keep you in spirit and try to help keep you in that state of not having ego and being happy.
So I think that you did that yesterday. I bet you could get a TV show if I was Michelle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What's up, Joe? Good to see you, man. So yesterday, so I want to be very clear. Although that is your intention, it is not your responsibility whatsoever.
Right.
You're not responsible for my thoughts, feelings, emotions, right? No. And a lot of people sometimes think, oh, if she would just do this or just do that. And that is absolutely not what she's saying. And in fact, yesterday I was talking to you about some spiritual stuff, and you said something, and it just really was like, yeah, you're right, kind of thing. And I remember it as we were sitting up on the hill at the church, and you said, you said you were looking for like a sign almost, like, if I see this thing, then I'll know whatever. And I'm like, bro, you got to stop looking. When you're looking for something certain, you don't see everything else that is there. Sometimes we seek what we find. And sometimes if we're looking too hard for something, it's like attracting a partner or a good boyfriend or girlfriend or something. If you're just trying so hard, it's like, oh, geez. Like I know some high school buddies that they're literally my age. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? They're still so single. And I just feel
it's like Where's Waldo, like a Where's Waldo book. Our nephew got one of those for his birthday, and it's like all you're looking for is Waldo. You know what you miss when you only look for Waldo? You miss the Egyptian king. You miss the dog doing a roller coaster ride. You miss the cat wearing a farmer's hat. If you only look for Waldo, you miss everything else.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's what so that is my intention, is to assist and help and just be be present and be aware myself that my energy can help keep Seth balanced.
That's right. Yeah, and it can. So that is my intention is also to pay attention. What's up, Adina? What's up, Deniqua? My intention is to literally I was thinking of it this morning, be present with you and think about what you're feeling and what you're thinking.
That would be awesome.
Right?
Yeah, look at the dog.
Oh my gosh.
He's so cute.
This isn't a dog podcast, but
so
it's turning into that.
Oh,
so that is one of my intentions. And one of my gratitude is to thank you for that, right? Thank you for that kind of not stabilizing piece, because I'm not just a bonkers crazy guy, but it does add to my overall centeredness.
Right. Well, let me tell you right now, I'm reading a book called The Power of Showing Up by Dr. Dan Siegel. You guys, it is such A good book.
It's your boyfriend, it's your man crush, blah, blah, blah.
Man crush. I'm listening to it on Audible. So if you don't have an Audible subscription yet, you can get this book for free. You go to audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage, and you can get The Power of Showing Up by Dr. Dan Siegel. And it's really amazing because it's talking about attachment, which we've talked about on the show before, but we definitely should do like a whole series about it because I think you have either avoidance attachment or disorganized attachment.
We've already talked about that.
Stop, I'm not done. And one of the things about that attachment style is that it's like in Seth's childhood, it was a good childhood. He did not have bad parents. I'm not saying anything negative about his parents, but the attachment style that he learned makes him feel like nobody's listening. No one cares. I'm going to stick to my own stuff. I'm going hunting. Bye.
Right.
Because
I don't like you speaking for me. I don't like this.
But what I can do is know that that is a thing,
right,
and be secure and centered for you.
Right.
Because I love you, not because I think you're a ding dong. And I'm so glad that my kind sentence is now making you mad.
No. I'm not saying it like that. We talked about attachment, and I did this whole like solo podcast. I think it was last year, the year before.
You run in solo. Yes, we don't need to talk about.
Okay, yeah. But that is a really, really interesting thing, and it's called attachment theory, attachment styles, all kinds of stuff. So let's jump into the question, y'all.
It's really good. Oh, I didn't say my gratitude.
What does this guy do? That's
gratitudinous to you.
Yeah.
I loved that yesterday we met, the kids and I surprised you, and we walked at the church with you while you were doing your exercise. And I just love that you are present. Like you just met us. It was like there was no, I'm working out. You're interrupting me. It's this, it's that, which in the past it sort of had that vibe sometimes. And you just sort of like, it's like you embraced us in a hug almost, right? Like a metaphoric hug. We walked down the driveway, we interrupted your workout, and you're like, yeah, let's go. And you turned and we walked. And I'm just really thankful for that. The assurity, the sense of I'm like, he loves us. He's here.
That's good.
We can change his schedule and he's not going to get mad. That's really great. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I love you.
It would be silly of a man or a woman to not take that opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, my entire family just came here. Oh, I gotta do stuff. That would be too rigid, and oh my goodness, I about said that would not be a growth mindset. And look at the very bottom who just joined. Growth mindset. Okay, that's bonkers.
It says, I have to remember to have pen and paper ready because y'all always give so many good book suggestions. Yes, and I try to post the book suggestions, and it's hard. If we say a book suggestion, you can pop it into the comments, and that way we'll remember it.
Okay, so I have not
a great book.
I've not told you this, but I've been thinking about it. It was an idea that came to me, and and this is for like Instagram quotes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And I want someone,
listeners,
either we can pay you a little bit of money, or I can give some codes for some free merch. But I would love. Oh, do you guys want to get paid or get free merch to listen to the show? Oh, answer yes. Okay, great. Then I want little one-liners of like, something that sets blah 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 sets Dudley, right?
Like quotes. You want someone to find quotes that we say throughout the show that are helpful, and then send them to us because it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's like 4 full-time jobs.
So then we can post them. So if I'm bringing a challenge, if you're listening and you want to have a growth mindset yourself, listen, throw out some quotes or write some quotes down, email them to us, and I will literally give you whatever you want.
He won't give you whatever you want. Okay, anyway. I love it. So if you can do quotes
on it, I'm a graphic designer. Oh my goodness, we are looking for a graphic designer.
We are.
Bro McKenzie.
Dang. Okay, anyway. So Air 5 for graphic designers, Air 5 for Joe being new and hanging out. You are amazing, Joe. We got to read our question.
Okay, here we go.
So here we go. It says, I need help. I've always struggled being sexually attracted to my husband. I love him. We work well together, and he's a great husband and father, but I am just not sexually attracted to him. I blame low libido on why I can barely have sex once a week, when that is not necessarily the case. He's very understanding and does not pressure me to have sex when he can tell I'm not into it. We got engaged and later married when I got pregnant quickly in our relationship, and we have committed ourselves to each other since then. I want to be attracted to him, but it's very hard when I have struggled with it for 5+ years. I have never struggled with bad sex. I want to desire sex with him. His personality is very gentle and completely different and from every previous relationship I've been in. I think it's partially my own trauma issue with wanting a more tough guy, but I'm not sure. Help.
This is interesting. So,
good morning, Jesse.
I want to say something, and this is totally unrelated, but hey, Annie, good morning. I went to high school with Annie, and that's really cool. So
there's comments in our reviews that are like, you guys get so distracted by the Instagram. Will you knock it off?
Well, that's what happens when you have ADHD.
And friends.
and friends, that's right. So, okay, let's jump into this question. And what do you think from a female perspective? I think a couple of things from a guy perspective, and I'm leaning more towards, okay, dude, what are you not doing to help your wife out in this kind of thing?
There's a couple things that I think, and right off the bat is we interviewed Dr. Corey Allen in season 1 of our show. We talked in this episode, it's called The Science of Love. Listen to that show. Good luck finding it. It's like 5,000 episodes ago. But The Science of Love with Dr. Corey Allen talks about phenylethylamine, which is the love hormone that we have when we first get engaged, we first start dating. It's like the falling in love drug that our body produces as a biological chemical to go bond with this person, have sex with them, have a baby, produce more
it's
humans.
All about pair bonding and neurobiological aspects of that. And I don't think it's a hormone. I think it's more of a chemical.
It's chemical.
Like
not a hormone. So, but it is a chemical that our body creates for the procreation of our species, right? It has nothing to do with like, oh, you're my best friend, I love you dearly. It's like, have a baby, make more humans, right? But it only lasts 6 months to 2 years. That's why people have relationships that are 2 years long. They break up because of phenylethylamine runs out, and then they have to change how they love their partner. So this might be a case of that, right? I'm just throwing it out there that I want everybody to know that. How about that? But the other thing I think is, the end of the sentence it says, or end of the thing it says, I want to be attracted to him, blah, blah. He's very gentle and completely different from every previous relationship I've been in.
Right.
Here's what you need to understand about that. Our bodies are doing a ton of work that we don't even know is going on. We are not even thinking about it. We're not aware of it. But our body is going, who will make a good dad? The gentle guy. He'll make a great dad, right? Who would make a good lover? That rough and tough guy, the brawny paper towel man, hey, right? Our body has very compartmentalized ideas of what serves what function that we need, right? Who will protect me most? The biggest, tallest guy in this room. Maybe my husband is 4'9", but that big guy triggers something in me that goes, I'm safe, right? So our body is doing that all the time, and it has nothing to do with our actual desires, who we love, what we want long term. So know that your biological makeup is fighting against your logical mind. That makes sense?
Yeah, I wasn't going the biological route whatsoever with any of this.
Well, it's sex, is it not? Is that a biological thing?
It is, but foreplay and sex and all that stuff starts in the morning, right? With the emotional connection piece.
I don't think. Okay, we can have different opinions about this, but I don't think that that's what she's dealing with. I don't think it's like my husband, she said, I've always struggled being sexually attracted to him. It's not, he doesn't do foreplay.
Right. I would ask, okay, what brought you together in the first place? She does talk about a past trauma issue with wanting a more tough guy. So I would want to explore that. And here's the thing, Jesse, do you feel that social perspective has something to do with classifying men, i.e. social media, movies, TV shows? Yes, exactly as women are objectified in media and Instagram and social media and all this stuff, so are men, but not in a kind of piece of meat objectification sort of way. It's like, you are a man if you don't cry, if you're super strong, if you, I don't know, don't show emotions kind of thing.
Or if you save the day all the time. I think of like, what is his name? The Rock? The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson, yes.
Like that vibe. Like, that's a man. He's huge and burly, and something bad happens, he's going to save the day and carry 2 people in his arms, right? Like, our culture teaches us what being manly means, and it's not helpful at all.
There is a book that I've heard forever but have yet to read. It's No More Mr. Nice Guy. And I don't actually know I've just heard other men on the podcast I listen to and in other circles talk about this, and it I believe that it is because so it's like a pendulum swing, right? So at a certain time, men were like super, this and this and this, and then women were like, hey, no, this is all toxic kind of thing, and then there was a shift of like, oh, okay, I'm going to be passive and just like very like understanding and listening to, and I get this all the time, being a licensed therapist, working in literally a 98% female dominated field, right? So I'm like, okay, how do I interact with this stuff? And sometimes I don't like it because I'm just like, come on, let's go, kind of thing. And so what was I saying? Oh, so there's a sense of like, okay, this is what women want, just kind of meek and passive kind of thing. But is that actually what you want? No, absolutely not. And I'm not going to classify all women here, but I know that that's not what you want. And we just talked about it yesterday. What do you find more emotionally, physically, sexually, even spiritually attractive? When I act, what kind of way? Centered and not like a baby man. Right? And when I'm like, okay, I got this, let's do this kind of thing. You always talk about me cutting down a tree or like wearing red plaid or who knows.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, say it again.
Or chopping wood or hunting deer or who knows what, right? And so that is part of you. You really like that. And that's who I am as a person, right? So for me to minimize that would, number one, be harmful to me, and number two, be like, what is this wuss doing?
Right. And here's what I want to.
I'm not calling the husband a wuss or anybody listening a wuss if you don't like kill deer and chop wood.
But you are a wuss. I'm totally kidding. I'm just joking. So the thing that stands out to me based on what you're saying and all of that is like each relationship is different. Each relationship has a different set of what is attractive and what is not. So I'm saying that in the context of my own life, the people I've dated, what I find attractive about the people I dated was different than what I find attractive about you because you're you, they were them, right? So I want to kind of demystify this idea, I guess, because people hold this stuff like it's like sacred. You can't talk about why someone is or isn't attractive.
Because I'm married, and if anything kind of goes off of that, so this just came in my mind. So okay, right here. So you have a curve right here, right?
It's called hips.
Just your hip curve, like it goes in right here and then comes out.
Oh yeah, it does.
And it drives me bonkers, right? But guess what? Other women have that same exact thing, right?
Yes.
And oh yeah, okay, that's nice.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
But you're my wife. This curve is mine. That curve is not.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, just like, okay, name something that I have on my body that's like, oh, okay.
Muscly arms. Ooh, yeah.
Right? No, seriously.
I am serious.
Okay, so do other dudes have muscly arms? Yes.
Have you seen John Cena? Just kidding. He's so. We watched him wrestle the other day with the kids.
It was
and they
so
were like,
random.
What is this?
John Cena was wrestling some guy, and I was like, okay, you guys, just watch
It was so funny. Anyway, yes, you have
hilarious.
muscly arms.
Right. So,
but so does John Cena.
You cannot think John
The
Cena
Rock.
is attractive.
No, I know.
Okay, good.
If I do, we're done, right?
The podcast is over, right? But there are other men with muscly arms.
Yes.
That you go,
okay. I see a flannel shirt.
But that's not yours.
That's right.
Right?
That does not mean it's not attractive, but it is not mine.
So we may be kind of getting off topic.
Nope, we're not. Keep on talking.
Oh, you go.
So
because I feel I would totally go off topic.
No, okay. So I think it's important to kind of demystify and be okay with understanding things in this way, because people don't talk this way. They think, oh, my husband or my wife, especially in the Christian space, I'm not knocking anything here, but we pretend that all the other things matter, like how much money you make, what job you have, what your home looks like, if you go to church on Sunday, but do not talk about your biological needs. Gross. Don't. Gross. And that's not okay, because we're denying something. When you bury something, pretend it's not there, ignore it, it doesn't go away. It becomes maladaptive. It becomes unhealthy, bad. That's why people look at porn and lie and go to prostitutes, because they are hiding. And now I'm not saying if you expose it to the light, go look at porn and go to prostitutes. That's not what I'm saying. If you treat something differently, you'll have a different reaction in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so back to this and why this all matters. If you, as this person asking this question, are looking at your husband and trying to say, okay, there's one sexual standard in this world. It's, I don't know, The Rock. That's the only person I can think of.
You're really thinking about The Rock.
I don't really find him sexually attractive, but whatever. He's just like the most Oh wait, who's Thor? Chris Hemsworth. Let's say Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anything Viking, let's say that.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you like Vikings too. Don't pretend you don't. Y'all talked about attractive friends before and being okay with acknowledging their beauty / stud factor. I think it was the first I had ever heard in a healthy
makes sense way.
Yes, yay, good. That's what we're talking about now.
That's good.
So it's the same thing. So hold on here. If in our mind, let's just make this me and you because it's easier. It's harder to make it someone else.
Basically.
So in my mind, if I say the most sexually attractive person in the world is going to be 6 foot tall, they're going to weigh 200 and something pounds. I don't know how much a person that size weighs. And they're going to be able to bench press a car and they're going to be 10. Am I ever going to look at you and be like, yeah?
No.
No, because
but you will be less likely to.
I will be less likely to because I have created a very small standard, very small box that Seth has to now fit in for me to say, yep, sexually attractive, tick the box. If I stop thinking, this is literally what we were talking about yesterday. If I stop if I stop using that as my example of a sexually attractive man to me, I can, it's like the Where's Waldo analogy. If I stop looking for where's Chris Hemsworth, that's funny. If I stop doing that, I can see my spouse with a whole different set of eyes. More importantly, if I can then look at attractiveness from a multifaceted mindset, I can have a much deeper, more fulfilling, more amazing, unbelievable sexual experience over and over and over again with my spouse. Let me tell you what I mean here. So I realized a while ago that y'all, loads of TMI right now.
Uh-oh.
I am...
Make me upset?
No, I get physically aroused, and arousal just means excited, when I talk about things like that I really enjoy or that are really challenging for my brain. I love puzzles. I love solving things. I love building things and figuring out how it works. That arouses means excites.
It stimulates you.
Stimulates. Not only
stimulating. The word stimulate has kind of been bastardized.
It ain't titillate. It's stimulate.
Okay, right? Like, a stimulating conversation on philosophy.
Someone put that in a quote and send it to him. It ain't titillate. It's stimulate.
Right.
So what I'm getting at is that once I realize that I become stimulated, aroused, excited, whatever, when I'm talking about something new, when I'm talking about attachment theory, when I'm talking about Dan Siegel's work, all of those things, when I figured that out, and then I went, wait a minute, I know who I can talk about those things with. This guy, ding, 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 winner, chicken dinner. And I can turn that channel of my energy that is exciting to me, and I can focus it on my spouse. That is a whole new level of intimacy that does not exist in Jumanji 2.
So what you are talking about is the emotional piece. Not you started out with the biological piece, but the emotional piece. There's no biology in talking about. I mean, there is just inherent in like who we are, but there's far more emotionality and social concept,
right?
Social construct rather, and the emotional piece of like talking about stimulating things, right?
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So when that is fulfilled, when the emotional piece and like social piece is fulfilled, then women, and the research backs this up, women like to have sex.
The research going to back it up. That's funny.
The research will make you
I will never hear that sentence the same. The research backs it up. That is so research be like.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so
hold on, let me finish that thing. So then you're emotionally stimulated, and then that enables kind of like what is it? Puts water on the water slide for other things. I mean, biologically, obviously, but kind of paves the way, right? Men need sex to feel connected.
Right.
Women have to be connected to have sex.
Right. Generally speaking, not everybody. Right. Generally speaking.
Okay, let's read some questions here. Meredith, what's up, girlfriend?
Hey, go ahead.
you're a fellow therapist. Oops. So I always love it when other therapists come on. No, well, for
just answer that.
Okay. Lexi says, really enjoying y'all's playfulness, vibing together this morning. The whole complex idea of attractiveness is so important to talk about.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Because you got to jam. You got to vibe if you want other things to vibe.
Aaron just said, you just described Ragnar Lothbrok.
Oh.
See?
I love Ragnar.
See? Oh, I said it wrong.
So
sorry, Ragnar.
Okay, Postula says, yes, if she keeps telling herself she's not sexually attracted to him, she never will be.
Yes.
That's right. What's up, Delano, my man?
Her body will believe what her mind tells it. Yes. You cannot keep telling yourself that I'm not sexually attracted to my partner. I'm not sexually attracted to my partner. And then expect that you're going to be sexually attracted to your partner. Open that.
Hey, Meredith. Bill says, I think that people don't realize that it takes work to keep the sexual attraction going. Over time, that excitement phase wanes, and you need to find exciting new ways to create that feeling. Doing the same thing over and over again does create boredom.
Yes.
I believe that sexual attraction is that excitement of not knowing what is going to happen. Am I off point?
No.
You're exactly on point. And let me just tell you something that I was just thinking about. So in our sex series, we, with Dr. Tina Shermer Sellers, so we did sex therapy with her and made a podcast about it. And also we talk about sex often. And sometimes we talk about sex as not even having orgasm, because someone posed the question, can you have a sexual experience without having an orgasm? And from, I guess, my age of point of view, it's like, yeah, I don't want to really mess around unless there's an orgasm, right? But I'm just thinking of this right now, like in middle school and high school and stuff, there were tons of sexual experiences without orgasm, right? Like a makeout sesh or like first base or even second base or something. You know what I'm saying?
You're sinful. You're talking about this. I can't believe you.
Come on, everybody messed around in high school. But so that is a really, it opened my eyes, right? So like focusing on sex, especially if we, have been with a person for a long time, like we have a sexual routine kind of thing.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, do this, then, you orgasm, boom, right? But sometimes there is pressure to finish almost, you know what I'm saying? So what would it look like? And I'm just kind of like channeling Tina Shermer Sellers right now.
Channel, man.
What would it look like for a very pleasurable experience that brings high levels of connection?
Right. And that's her whole...
And it doesn't have to have orgasm. I prefer it, obviously, but it is kind of, changing up the routine. You're just like, okay, if that happens, then awesome. If it doesn't, it's still a very connecting experience.
Yeah, and that's Dr. Tina's whole thing is connection and pleasure. It's not orgasm. It's not that. It's connection and pleasure, which is not the same thing as just intercourse or whatever. So
that maybe even thinks about being sexually attracted. So I'm not sexually attracted because I know what sex means. It's just he's going to have an orgasm and I'll be like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So maybe this person's tired of that routine.
That's a great
You understand
point.
what I'm saying? Because there's no connection in the buildup, or like, oh, okay, yeah. He, what does it say? He's very understanding and does not pressure me to have sex when he can tell I'm not into it. And that makes me think. I had a conversation with a potential coaching person yesterday, and we were talking about. I thought of this quote that John Gottman said. I think it was maybe it was on. Oh, when we have seen him before.
Yeah.
He was talking about sex and sexual attraction and stuff like that, and it was hilarious. He's like, I don't want to have sex with a person that doesn't want to have sex.
Right.
And he was talking about his wife, of course, you know, but the idea is like
Julie with the good hair.
Right, Julie with a good hair. Jailer from Blood. And the way that he said it was just so profound.
Right.
If you don't want to have sex right now, why do I want to have it with you? That's gross.
Right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And what's crazy is that people are so out of touch with the almost like interpersonal understanding of what sex is meant to do. It is meant for connection and pleasure. A side effect of it is a baby, if you want one. But it is literally, think about what you felt as a middle schooler. That's a great way to put it. Like when you were in middle school. When you were in middle school and you looked at someone that you, like what? It's funny to think of middle school, like who you have a crush on, like the weirdest looking kid ever, and you go, oh, it's so hot. But there was a meme about that the other day. It was so funny. Anyway, so think about what you felt when you looked at the person that you had a crush on. All you wanted to do connection and pleasure. I want to touch that person, kiss them. That would be amazing, right? But then
probably that was more focused on pleasure.
Right, but think about this: as we become in real relationships, not pretend ones, where the person actually cares about us and knows we like them, and then we get married and we've had children together and we start a family and we're like deeply invested into each other's lives, and somehow we think it's okay to be like, well, he's not in the mood, but I want it. Like, what are we? Disgusting slugs? Like, we're not. Don't be that way. But I want to get to, don't get sidetracked. I want to get to this idea that says his personality is very, quote, gentle. That does not sound like a compliment coming in this question. It does not sound like something you like, because it says, and completely different from every previous relationship I've been in. Now, there's a couple things I want to say about that. Is there something about you as a wife that makes him feel like gentleness matters? Are you accidentally, and I'm not trying to blame you here, are you accidentally projecting that gentleness is so important that he feels like he can't be not gentle? That's a thing, it's a question to think about. I'm not saying it's true or not. But also, I want you to talk about all sorts of things with your husband. I want you to do conversation starters. I want you to come up with your own conversation starters that will help you walk out of what you think you know about your husband, because you might be wrong. Let me explain. If I think that I know you and I don't ask you what your thoughts are, then I will assume, he probably doesn't like classical music. He likes only metal. Death metal is Seth's jam. But you know what is also Seth's jam? Classical music. You love. In our work shed, we call it Tiny. It's the little shed. In Tiny, there's a radio on to the classical station that he put in there. I didn't do it. He did it. If I didn't take time to learn this about Seth, I would never know it about Seth. And we don't realize that we often pigeonhole our partner. Pigeonhole? Mold? We keep them in a box and don't allow them to come out of it. We don't encourage or invite them to surprise us. So I invite you, asker of this question, to surprise yourself by asking your partner things that might reveal a more assertive man side that won't feel fake. And someone in Brené wrote, a humble man being who he really is attractive. A man acting tougher than he truly is fake attraction. Women may be attracted for a time, but the fake shows through and isn't safe.
That's right. That's really good. And that goes, and somebody says, so true. And somebody else says, yes, I feel like I can't be myself and be assertive without backlash. So that is one of the most enraging and frustrating things that a man can feel, right? Because we have this inside us biologically and emotionally, but when the women that we're with, or the woman that I'm with, rather, kind of pushes back against that because of maybe your own insecurities or something like that. And you have to have a real balance, right? There's all kinds of talk about toxic masculinity, and people say, oh, it's just made up by feminists and all this stuff. But I don't really subscribe to that. It's like, okay, yes, there is super idiot douchebags out there, right? And the other pendulum side to that is like, all masculinity is bad. No, it's not. What are you, insane? It's like, I am created male, right, with very male inherent qualities, and you have not those qualities, and you are very different, right? It's like a cedar tree and an oak tree. Biologically, DNA-wise, genetically, they are different, right? And that's what it is. You understand what I'm saying? So it has been, and tell me some instances when this has happened. Like when I try to do stuff, are you, and this is funny because it's a family origin issue. It's like when I do something dangerous with the kids at a family thing, what do all the women say?
Well, everyone except for me.
Right.
Don't do that. Stop. You're going to get hurt. Seth, don't do that. Everyone coddles like something bad's going to happen.
So that is me, like, not wanting danger or being flippant, but it's like showing healthy male aggression with my own boys kind of thing. And it's like they respond to that, right? I've written a whole paper, mental health-wise, about how boys, because I do tons of boys mental health groups, outdoor experiential stuff, boys respond in the woods, right? There's just something inherent, and especially with native boys that we do stuff with, it's like, yo, we are going to respond. I remember being in the woods, just being peace out. I'm going to the woods. When I was 12, I built a freaking log cabin when I was 12 in the woods, right? So all this stuff. That's right. But it is really frustrating when
Right.
I get that pushback. I'm like, it would be like, hey, stop like trying to like stop being like so curvy.
No curves today.
Stop like thinking about babies. You know, I know your ovaries are blowing up, but you know,
right.
Don't be that feminine. That's
right.
gross.
And I think it's important to understand it at some level too with women. So don't read the comments. Just stay with me for a moment. Someone posted this. I can't remember. We were talking about hormones, and how literally every day of a woman's like 30-day cycle or whatever, 27, 23, whatever days cycle you have, you are different. So there are hormones that change and are added and taken away at different times of every single month.
Right.
So what's crazy is, and you know this, we've been married long enough for you to know, after I started tracking my cycle, that in my cycle, there are days when I really desire sex. And there are days when I'm like, go away, ding dong. Like, I don't even care.
Dong.
Right? Dong ding. So there are days when I'm like, I don't even want sex at all. And there are other days that literally only based on my biology where I'm like, bring it on. And it's important to know that because there are days when I do not care about your masculinity whatsoever. And there are other days when I'm like, yes, Ragnarok.
You don't care about masculinity? I don't get that.
I'm sure
I'm not saying that you don't.
Women who are listening get it. So
because I can't ever think of a day it's like, yeah, I don't like your parts.
Because you because you aren't a lady and you don't have, like, think of it like the moon. I mean, it's like a moon phase. It's a phase. Right. There are days when the moon is full. There are days when it's a tiny sliver on this side. There are days when it's like 3/4 on that side.
No, I understand the analogy, but
it literally is how my brain works with you. I'm like, some days when you chop a tree down, I'm like, yes, who wants a kid tonight?
Yeah.
And then other days you chop a tree down, and I'm like, look at the mess I've got to make. Right? And it's just that women aren't the same all the time. And so this does not give ladies a free pass to just nag and be a B word whenever they want.
Right.
This gives ladies insight and wisdom to know, I might not be attracted to this thing right now, but y'all give me 4 days and I'll be all over it. Okay? Know that about yourself, ladies. If you don't track your cycle, start. That's really, really important. Okay, let's read some of these things.
Okay, so Jesse says, talking about, I can't be myself and be assertive about backlash, making decision for vacations, decisions to play certain sports. So on things like that, you have to be on the same page, right? Like I did jujitsu. Jiu-jitsu 2 years ago or so. Living in the apartment. And you were completely fine with it, other than like, oh, this is expensive, but we can budget for it, kind of thing, and the time away. But it was literally right next door from where we lived. Did you care about that? What did you even think about
I
that?
liked it. I thought it was good.
But I didn't go, listen, I got to do me, and I'm going to do jiu-jitsu.
Right. But here's the funny thing. Everybody in my family was like, Seth is doing what? He does what? He has a gi? Oh, what is he doing? I was like, he's doing jujitsu. Get over it.
Right. Yeah, so that's very interesting. Bill says, do you think that women grow up with... hold on.
Open.
Boom, baby.
Okay.
Do you think that women grow up with this thought that men need to be aloof and manly, i.e. not in touch with their emotions, non-communicative, and unempathetic, and that finding out that their man is complex with many levels of depth could cause lack of attraction? I think so.
Yes, they do. And that's one of the things that Dr. Tina talked about is that women always say, I want my partner to be more emotionally attuned with me. I want my partner to talk to me more. I want my whatever. And then they do. Guess what the wife does? I can't handle it. Oh!
So if you guys joined us on Monday, I think, is when I was kind of still feeling pissed. I thought that I was doing the right thing, right? From an Enneagram 9 perspective, I'm like, okay, white knuckle it, hold it in, don't share emotions. I can take care of it myself, right? So I have to really fight that and resist that urge to just go in and be like, okay, I'll do it myself, right? Because that harbors resentment and not full connection, right? So in that, and Melanie's asked me for this 100 times. Well, what are you thinking? Be more emotional. All this bull crap. And, so I was thinking I was doing the right thing. Hey, I'm going to share my feelings right now. But then she didn't understand and pushed back. And I was just like, F this, right? Well, I wasn't super that mad, but I was just like really kind of miffed, right? So yeah, women do ask for that. And sometimes men do too, right? And that has bitten people in the butt as well. And so it's be clear, like understand what you want, and then recognize when your partner is actually trying to give you what you have asked for. You know what I'm saying? So like when I remember where I was sitting, we talked about it, I was like, oh, I'm kind of frazzled right now, and I should have said, hey, I'm kind of frazzled right now, and I was thinking about this a lot, and I know that you wanted me to be more emotional, so literally this is my thing. You would have absolutely responded, oh my goodness, thank you so much, sweetie, and we probably would have gone better.
Yeah, and that's what's hard is that there is an element of, if I'd have known that it was sort of like coming from a deeper place in you, I would have obviously in 1 second aligned with that, and would have found it really attractive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So women, think that if you're asking that from your man, it is coming from a very deep place, right? And men too, don't treat your woman like you would another dude, right? Because then you're just gonna have another dude, and that's not what you want, unless you're into that. I feel so as well. When they are communicative, they shut down. Yeah, that's a good discussion there. So we're almost at 40 minutes. But I feel like we're missing something. Did we wrap something?
We didn't do conversation starters, but I do want to say, in answering this question, one of the things I think that will be the best thing for this particular question of I don't feel like I'm not sexually attracted to my husband, I don't know what to do, I never have been, blah, blah, blah. I want you to focus on, so where what you focus on expands. Where where focus goes, energy flows. So if I say every single day, I'm not sexually attracted to my husband, you're only going to get more of what you say. So I want you to start saying to yourself, I literally do gratitudes in your mind about your husband all the time, about all the aspects of who he is, and do them with intention, do them fully. Do not do this halfway. Don't pretend yourself. Don't do it wrong. If you do it wrong, you're going to end up worse on the other side. But what I want you to do is say to yourself, or write it down, journal out what you love about your husband every single day. And then go deeper every single time, every day that you do it. Challenge yourself, do it for a week, do it for 2 weeks, whatever. And be like, I love the fact that my husband, mowed the grass. I love the fact that my husband kisses our baby goodnight and sings to her. I love the fact that my husband installed the hot tub. I love the fact that my husband fixed the pipes on the hot tub. That was sexy. You didn't know that because you were so angry. When you fixed the hot tub, I was like, dang, really? When is the hot tub? Right? He's out there buying tubes and connectors. But anyway, I'm not done. So quick. So the other thing too is get the app. Go to anatomymarriage.com, get the app. You can get it in the App Store, Google Play. And start doing the conversation starters with your partner. This is going to give you an insight that normal conversations will not ever give you. And you will find out things about your partner. But then start to make your own and be like, when do you feel the most manly? And then your partner might tell you about a story when he shot 2 deer and hoisted them over his shoulders. And you're like, whoa. And it will change what you think about your partner. Because you don't know them all the way. You have not been together that long.
That's right. And before we jump into the conversation starters, I want to talk about getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage, and it is an online counseling service, right? And I was just thinking about this. Sometimes, even as a licensed marriage and family therapist, I feel some stigma around therapy, right? And if I feel that, and it is my career and profession, and has been for the last 13 years, I know other non-therapists feel that, right? So with getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage, you don't have to go to an office. You don't have to do all this research about where do I go, who's going to see me, especially if you live in a small town and all this stuff. You don't even have to tell anybody, right? If you're doing couples counseling and you're married, then I honestly would prefer that you talk to your spouse about getting therapy if you need individual help. And you can do that totally anonymously. Totally nobody knows that you're going to go to therapy because it's all online. Getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. We'll hook you up with a licensed professional counselor. It doesn't matter if you live in Timbuktu or New Zealand or Nevada, anywhere. It
Nevada
doesn't matter.
Kedavra.
Oh my gosh, Nevada Kedavra.
Oh my gosh, that has to be a joke somewhere.
Right. So if anything on any of our shows has maybe sparked something like, oh, you're right, that attachment stuff they were talking about, or that family of origin. Oh my gosh, what is my style? What is my communication style? I want you to go talk to a therapist about it at getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage, because when you do uncomfortable stuff, you grow, or just sit there and don't.
You grow.
You grow, right? We grow in the discomfort. So taking that first leap, taking that first step into self-improvement into growth mindset can be expedited. And I'm not saying like, yeah, hurry up and heal, but it can be expedited and explored with the help of a professional counselor. So I want you to go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage to hook up with a counselor.
Yes.
Let me know how it goes. You guys are doing it, and I love you for it. So thank you. Erin, what's up? Erin says, dig into your why. It will force you to list the positive aspects and put your mind in a state of gratitude. I feel it'll help develop a deeper sense of appreciation for him and allow yourself to soften and love harder.
I love that.
That's very poetic. They're very good. Roe Kayla says, healthy people should be growing and changing through the duration of their life. It is important to ask questions and continually get to know them because they are always new things to learn.
That is so good.
Tony Robbins talks about, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? And if your car isn't moving forward,
you stuck.
Either you're going backwards, your car doesn't work, or you're just sitting there, right? And if I'm in a car, it's not to sit there.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you're not growing, you're dying. So always be changing, always be evolving, always move and strive to push against that resistance and to step forward into a growth mindset. So one conversation starter. Let's do this.
I wanted to do this conversation came to my head. List 3 of your favorite toys when you were a kid. The reason I thought of this was this morning. Who knows? The song from the Skip It came into my head. Skip it, skip it, something in a bop bop. And I loved a Skip It. I had a pink one, and I was like, y'all, this is my jam. I would skip it in the garage all day long, and it was the best.
The first thing that came to my mind was this really cool bike. You know those like bikes with the long seats.
Oh yeah, like a banana seat.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a bike like that. I had some toy tractor trailers, like the kind of big ones, like 18-wheeler, like a big ones. They were, I think, Nylit, Nylit. And then this also came to my mind when I was a teenager. Speaking of building the log cabin when I was a kid, I went and bought at a hardware store with my own money an Estwing hatchet, and it was the best thing ever.
Did your brother lose it?
And yes, he did. But I'm not bitter about that.
What year was it? I'll buy you a new one.
Oh my goodness! If I had that thing, you know what?
You probably go find it.
Oh my gosh, that would be
probably in the backyard of your old property.
That'd be such a treasure.
Hold on, let's keep on with this. But I think one of my favorite toys when I was a kid, I used to do a lot of like engineering stuff with my brother. So we played Legos all the time. But I loved it was like this. It was like an erector set with an engine in it. Yeah, like it was Connects actually, and it had like motors in it, and you could make like boats and whatever. And I loved doing that. But honestly, one of my favorite things was our garage. And I was just like tough when I was a kid. I would make. I remember I made like a mace. Like I took a pole and it had a chain on it. Who knows why a pole has a chain on it? And I took pronged
or a mace,
staples, like the big fat staples. And I bent them with pliers until I made a ball of bent staples at the end of this chain. Awesome. And my mom let me stick it on my bedpost, like I was a knight, because I was totally.
I'm just thinking about the weapon of a mace. Isn't that
it's so terrible. I think of what is that movie, Braveheart, where he wakes up and he goes right on his face. And it's like, it's so gross.
So Bill says, if you're in a car, it's because you have an emotion that you want to share and with Mel and take off.
Vroom. I love it.
That's a really good analogy.
That is a really good analogy.
What's up, Jenny? Good morning.
All right. We love you guys. Seriously, get the Anatomy of Marriage app. It's us. It is us. Get it. It's great. And ask these questions to each other. Talk about conversation starters. It'll make your marriage better. And thank you so much for joining us on this lovely, lovely
And if you do want free merch, go back, listen to the podcast, email us quotes.
You ain't getting free merch.
Yes, you are. If you send 40 quotes, it should be easy.
Send 50. Nope. But look, hold on really fast. Tomorrow, we're going to open up this surprise date box that we got sent by Crated with Love. So tomorrow's show, we're going to open this date box. We have no idea what's inside of it. We're super excited. And we're just taking Ask Us Anything questions. So send in anything you want to ask us. Could be about Doug. Could be about my beautiful hair. Doesn't matter. My earring collection. So join us tomorrow, 7:30 a.m.
All right. See you guys tomorrow. Love you. Bye.
I don't know what. That's what I do. I pushed that button. I lost my barbos. Oh, and you always like to end it. Actually end it.